4 meeting to order. Ms. Markowski, if you know that all board members are present except Katie Hutchinson. And would you all please stand with me to say the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item that we will dive into the agenda. Yeah, the agenda. Don't look for me to get much better than that. I'm going to approve the agenda as presented. Please have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You abstain. All right, the next would be the approval of minutes from previous meetings, and I move that we approve these as well. Can I please have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. At this point, I don't believe we have any public comments, so we're going to move right into the Shoemaker and our major funds monitoring report, and no running.
No.
That's what next goes, no running.
A few things on this report tonight. I'm going to point out how well we're starting the year out, so hopefully we continue the success. In the education fund, we have $9.3 million, which is a little more than $1 million, almost $2 million more than what we started out last year. So we'll be able to get some pretty good projections and meet our goals this next year is what that is telling me. We have positive returns on our enrollment, so we should be able to continue to be successful throughout this year, which is what is great. Our operations fund, ending balance in January is $5 million. Last year, at this time, January is $3 million, so we are $2 million better. But remember, I always remind you that this will go in the hole as we get our property taxes in June. Debt service, we're doing a little bit better than building that cash balance a little bit because at the end when we pay a debt off, then I don't have to tax that much. So we were able to do that. We're at $4 million, and last year was at $3 million. Pension debt, this is the one that'll pay off at the end of this year. So I built the cash balance at $614,000. We will get a distribution in June. That plus the cash balance that we will have in December will pay your loan off. Now, I'm projecting that will be a couple $1,000 off on that, where we will pay out of debt service, but that's normal because of interest rates over the lifespan of that debt. Last year we had $617,000, so we're staying right in the range where we're supposed to. Finally, on the rainy day fund, if you see that there's $50,000 on a report that was posted, that was my error. I am human, so I did take that $50,000 off, and your actual balance for January is $10,130,500.03, which is quite a big difference between what we started off with last year of $4,930,000. I will entertain any questions.
Board, we good? Okay, thank you so much. The next item on the agenda would be the presentation I believe we've all been waiting for.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Victor Landfair with Skillman Corporation. We're the construction manager for the new Jeffersonville High School Aquatic Center. We've really hit an exciting milestone. The design was completed back in early November, end of October to November. And we've been working since early November to get to this point. And tonight we're recommending bids and approval of our GMP for the project. And so I have a brief presentation here just to wade into a little bit of what we've done.
You're good.
So with that, first of all, I do want to give credit to our team. pitching here for our team, Tim Funston, our county executive, Tim Brown, Jake Sandberg, and Lance have been working very hard. We really have we think, an excellent team for this project. Lance has spent most of his career building pools and is coming off of a current project and will be building yours. So we're excited to have a strong team that's really spent a lot of time getting to this point and setting this project up for success. As I mentioned, we started this process back in November. We did a contractor open house at Mark's Feed Store and bribed them with some barbecue to make sure they were interested in your project. If you don't know, it takes a lot of effort to entice even major projects like this to make sure we get good bidder participation. We pursued almost 200 contractors in pursuit of this project, both locally and regionally. We really had about almost 50 contractors engaged in the process, interested in the project, following up, tracking the project. Our results were excellent. We had 36 bids in the 13 categories that we bid. That's almost 3 bidders per category, which is really very good for this time and situation. There's a lot of project contractors are bidding on, and so we were happy to get good competition. And that, quite frankly, we nailed the budget. Our base bid come on just a little bit, about 6% under our budget, allowed us to accept a couple alternates for parking lot and some other features. So we're just right on budget with the project. So very pleased to report that. Also pleased to report we had a lot of participation. I say local when I say Clark County, Floyd County, contractor from Scott County, and a couple contractors from across the river. But of course, many union contractors, so a lot of workforce right in this area. So a lot of contractors and workforce right locally. Also happy to report that the precast walls will be fabricated by Fabcon, which is a Charlestown manufacturer. So both constructed and manufactured right here locally. Always nice to see that. It always sets a project up for success. I'm sure you're anxious for us to get started. We do have a lot of materials and systems. This is going to be one of those projects where we don't spend a lot of time working on the ground, and all of a sudden one day we're going to have precast walls show up. So I ask for your patience. I would anticipate next fall you're going to see a lot of things out of the ground and really making a big impact on that campus. So then, of course, we'll be ready for opening that fall season of 2026. I stole a couple images from Fannie Howie's presentation here. Of course, the main entrance. There's a view from the balcony level. There's a classroom, wet classroom view. And then there's, Bill's that training room? Training room. Just to whet your appetite. Happy, before I turn it over to Bill, I think we have a video that we can show you. But are there any questions?
You got me at under budget. Yeah, no, that's a good anticipatory set there. You got me going uncommonly.
Does it make you want to flip?
Flip, more likely.
With that, you have a
I can have a video of it.
video, and I don't know if Bill's going to narrate. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's pretty neat.
give some of the details.
I think one of the coolest things about this project is because of its position on the north end of the stadium, between the baseball diamonds and so forth, truly makes us a multi-sport facility. With all the locker rooms that everybody saw, it's going to serve football, track, swimming, and potentially other activities, including the training room and so forth. Not only do you have great views into the pool itself, which is the primary focus, but also great views actually on the football stadium from the balcony as well. So it's truly going to be a very flexible facility that I think is going to serve Greater Clark County schools for years and the region for years to come. I would echo Mr. Landfair's comments. This is a great team effort between Greater Clark County schools, your input, and excitement about this project, along with Fanning County School Corporation Perfection Group, really culminated in a great bidding exercise. We can't be more excited for you to see this come out of the ground and dive in a couple of years. So that's really all I have to say. Congratulations, what a great project. It's been wonderful working with you. We look forward to the completion of the project and you all using it. Any questions for either Mr. Landfair or myself?
I don't know. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. I think that was multi-sports and it'll be awesome. So looking forward. Okay. If that's all you came to see, you certainly don't have to stay. But I can bring right along, and I have plenty of funny jokes. So I'll give you 10 seconds to make that decision. Do you want to run or not? Do I know my people or what?
Big meet Thursday. They got homework, you get fed. That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll keep on moving right now. At this point, I would like to see if I have a motion for the consent agenda. Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Do we have any questions or comments regarding any item on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstaining. All right, next would be gifts to buildings. Mr. Jones, would you like to do gifts to buildings? Okay, look, I can, if you want, I can.
You might go ahead.
All right, that's it. Anybody else want to go ahead? It's a really righteous.
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah, it's good. It's really cool.
All right, with our gifts to buildings, I'll go ahead and recognize Greater North Clark Healthcare with donating a little over $4,900. We also have a lot of donations to the Educational Foundation, from the Educational Foundation to various schools. We also have Greater North Clark Healthcare Foundation is also donating $3,300 to New Washington Middle High School, and we also had the Jefferson Lodge donating to $2,500 to Parkview Middle for athletics. Wilson Elementary is going to get a donation from the Jefferson Elks Lodge for around $1,500. All total for this meeting, we are approving $17,071.92 total gifts to buildings.
Wow, I know what I was looking at. I move that we accept that. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions or comments regarding that wonderful donation? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining. All right, we'll keep moving right along here. Action items, we have a resolution for the supplemental payments. Ms. Helton, good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well, how are you all?
Good, thank you.
Good. Attached, we have a resolution to pay employees listed supplemental pay for the work they provided. The majority of the payments are for sectional and regional tournaments. There are a handful of payments on there as well for the Indiana Learns Tutoring Grant. So with that being said, we would just like to ask for your approval to pay those supplemental payments.
Board, do I have a motion
the supplemental payments.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mustaine. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, conflict of interest disclosure statement.
Yes, board is something that is in the code, that board members disclose any potential conflict of interest. So I'm asking the board to approve, I think there's two listed here, for you to consider, and I recommend that you approve.
All right, board, I'll move that we approve the conflict of interest disclosure statements. Could I please have a second? Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions or comments about that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. All right. Board policy updates.
Yes, board, most of these policy updates reflect legislative changes. Mr. Freeman's had a chance to review them, our team's had a chance to review them. We feel like we've reviewed them and looked them over real well, and feel like what we're bringing to the board tonight is appropriate for Greater Clark. So I'm asking the board to, recommending to the board that you approve these policy updates.
Board, do I have a motion for the Neola revised updates?
A motion that we approve the updates.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jones. Comments?
Yeah, a lot of reading on this one. I'm so glad it wasn't like the first and the second and the reading on all this, but yeah, in all total, it took a lot to get through it. I think I had like a few different questions. Mark, Superintendent Loeffler, was definitely helpful in answering all those, and agree with all of them.
I just want to thank you for that. I know we've cut them up before in the past and given people.
I cut them up before in the past?
Well, we didn't. I'm sorry about that.
I can't remember.
We'll make it up to you next year.
Yeah.
But no, I just appreciate you doing that. So all those in favor of the approval of the revisions from the old policy, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. All right. Next would be consulting agreement with TRC Educational Services.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Harley, how are you?
I'm good. Good evening. As you know, Power School is our student information system, and TRC Educational Services provides consulting in the field of Power School and student information systems. This agreement would provide consulting services in the amount of $8,079.75 to migrate current contact information from legacy fields to unlimited contacts in Power School. This is necessary due to changes that resulted from the decommissioning of the Unified Classroom Platform that Power School, we had absorbed that change. The work provided by TRC Educational Services will streamline and better regulate our student contact data within the Power School system.
Gotcha. Okay, board, do I have a motion for that approval of the consulting agreement?
I motion that we approve the consulting agreement.
Okay, I second that motion. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and abstaining. Uh-oh.
This is great.
Yes, sir.
There's a screen.
There's a lady. I see that too now.
They're supposed to bring it live. They're supposed to bring it live, but they like. They do. You'll see the subs. All right. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay, it's back on my
Is that?
vote. See, there you go.
I wonder if it's because it's clogging up.
It
It's
is,
a touch
yeah.
screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep it.
I didn't touch it, she
No,
did.
now it's. I know, get off. Can you go back up? Not yet, okay.
I think it's on you.
Is it? Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
They're good
Anyway,
luck.
I'm sorry, I just have to do that. I'm sorry, Dr.
Whatever we are,
Hartman.
Dr.
We're really falling off the rails here.
We're on number 5.
Number 4, the consulting
We did
agreement.
the vote.
Which the vote?
We did the vote for 5, correct?
Yes.
No,
Correct.
4. We're on 5.
We're on 5, correct.
Okay.
Who's on first? I don't know.
Summer school agreement. As you know, the testing season is upon us. And very soon, our 3rd graders and our 2nd graders will be taking I Read 3. And conversation with YouthLink. They will work in partnership with us to provide additional staffing services for the 2024 summer school program to narrow the achievement gap. The specifics of the agreement are detailed in the attached document. Summer school will occur May 28th through May 31st for elementary and special education students needing remediation. And then they will prepare for the second administration of IRE if they should be in a position where they have to retake the test. And then for secondary students, it will be from May 28th through June 21st for credit recovery. 15 elementary and 9 special education teachers will work 5 hours per day. Their hours will be from 7:30 to 12:30. The students will attend from 8 to 12. The teachers will work a total of 4 days and a total of 20 hours. 5 high school teachers will work 5 hours per week for a total of 4 weeks. It takes a little bit longer for them to complete that coursework on that platform. Elementary students will attend from 8 to 12. Special ed students will attend school a number of hours as appropriate for his or her needs. High school students will work virtually as needed to achieve the appropriate level of credits through online programming, and that will be from May 28th through June 21st. Teachers will earn $75 per hour for a total of $1,500. The total cost of the program will be $43,500, and this will be reimbursed by the state.
Board, do I have a motion for the approval of the summer school staffing agreement?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the summer school staffing agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
And I'll second
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Are there any questions for Dr. Harless? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining. Okay, we're moving right along. Another Dr. Harless?
Yes, as you know, our title dollars are all federal funds. And therefore, any student who resides within our district boundaries generates funding, even if they do not attend our public schools, and we provide a non-equitable share for those non-public schools. So this is a federal grant equitable share. It is an SEC site agreement for Providence High School. They would like to use their portion of Title IV funds to pay for a site assessment from Secure Environmental Consultants. The site assessment includes a 3-hour training to cover a broad range of targeted violence hazards, including a violent intruder, bomb threats, suspicious packages, insider violence, and custody-related confrontations. The training also includes hands-on instruction on strategies for the prevention of targeted violence.
Okay, board, do I have a motion for the approval of non-public federal grant equitable share SEC site agreement with Providence High School?
A motion that we approve.
Thank you. Trina, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mustang. Okay, do you have any questions or comments for Dr. Harless? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and abstaining. Okay, we have a new presenter. Long time no see. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Great.
Before you today is a proposed design agreement with Wolford Engineering. They have done work for Moats Group in the past on our campuses. This is for the design and development of our projects for Jeff High this summer. That include the baseball field and soccer field, as well as some other areas that are on that piece. Do you have questions for me?
Let me give, I move we approve this. Wolford Engineering Group, do I have a second, please?
I'll say.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Do we have any questions or comments for Nate? So this is our turf.
This is for our field trip projects, correct?
I got you.
It's part of the year one of the updated facility plan
Okay.
that we did hearings on.
Correct.
About a month ago.
Correct. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, thank you, sir. Hello.
How are you?
Good to see you, yeah.
Good to see you. Happy Valentine's Day. Appreciate you boarding this evening. I'm going to ask permission to advertise for a CMC bid for future projects that was presented to you in the 5-year plan. We just discussed the synthetic turf that's going to be going on at Joe High in Charlestown. So Wolford is the engineering, the surveyors of all of that. That is contained in there, but we will be doing additional projects, as you know, on that list in year 1 through 29. And so those projects, to remind you, in the 5-year plan include the CHS auditorium, the GHS bathroom flooring, the new middle school, CHS soccer field, which is where Pleasant Ridge is, future new elementary, GHS old pool area to wrestling arena and weight room, and park view renovation. We anticipate selecting a CMC, which is the construction manager's contractor, with all the projects that we're currently working on right now. The 2 elementaries, the Parkwood, and the pool are we're using that delivery method. You may have heard some words about our budget. This is a great way to make sure that you have your CMC ahead of that, to provide those numbers to us. So the purpose, the reason I'm asking tonight, the advertisement, there's not a date set in here where Jamie will advertise. He has to write the whole scope. We're getting permission, then he'll write the scope for these projects. That way you just get it done. I'd like to name some of these projects. I mean, I'd like to have CMC in place because you know how long we've spent on our elementary schools to get the most perfect delivery of that, on our beautiful pool, on our beautiful parkwood, which they'll be presenting all of that at the next meeting. We gotta get started. And so some of these are smaller in nature, but when we talk about the new middle school, it's very intense on getting those drawings in and getting all of those approvals through. So it will be most helpful to have a CMC. So I want to kind of give Jamie an opportunity that says, yes, the board's going to bless this. You just write it and you just get it advertised and try to make a target of May or June for us to get that in place. So we just get started on gathering numbers and making sure that we get good numbers and borrow good money from that. So it's my request that the board approve and give permission to advertise.
Board, I move we approve the permission to advertise for CMC bids for the future projects from 2024 through 2029. Might I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Do we have any questions regarding this?
I just think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, that's what I want to add is it'll help us define the scope and also define the price. As you all know, for the last 2 or 3 big projects, we've been chasing dollars. And we really want to get out of that practice of having to chase money because of inflation. And this will help us with that, get ahead of it, so that we know what the project cost will be.
As each one of our partners have demonstrated throughout the projects, they have the tools, the mechanisms, and the ability to question and solicitate information from those contract providers to them. And so they'll be able to say, what is the market now? And be able to monitor that all the way through as we design and, do things on these projects. So it's key. It's key to do that. So this partner will have a big, long commitment with us, so they have to be ready. That's the other part of it. That's what's going to be difficult for them. If I'm talking between now and 29, that's a long time. We do have the flexibility to remove a project for any reason that we desire. So that's how we will write that. If we have to shift, because we rewrite our 5-year plans, that's why we're really saying 5-year capital plan, because things come into play. You know how we always update that every 2 years to make sure that we're still on course and on target. But this one will only take us through 29. So I think this is a very good way to approach it for us, for me too. Thank you so much.
Okay, all those in favor of approval of permission to advertise for CMC bids, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or abstained? Next, approval, enter agreement between Premier Clark Schools and PH Design.
So at the last, we conducted a bid for all of our equipment replacement for the cafeteria. That they have to spend their money. We've talked about that several times. So now what we've charged the food service division to do is that we're gonna have this beautiful equipment. We have several students in there. We want to produce, serving lights in a cafeteria where they can, feel like they're in a restaurant setting, and there are special design services who create that environment. So this particular contract, this design service will not exceed a certain dollar figure for them to redesign the actual student section. And so which is proper for us to spend those funds on and give them, a different perspective on their food in that area. So I am recommending that the board approve this contract between us, not to exceed $4,500. If we ask them to do more and do more than that, $825 an hour on top of that. So that's my recommendation that you approve this contract.
Board, do I have a motion for the approval of this agreement between Greater Clark and Page Design? Go ahead, Teresa.
Mr. President, I move that we enter into the agreement between Greater Clark Schools and PH Design Services for Jeff High School student area cafeteria.
Perfect, thank you, Ms. Perkins. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and abstained. Okey-doke. Guaranteed maximum price agreement.
Here's one to make you really happy. There's two things I'm going to address with this recommendation. So the guaranteed maximum price, we did receive the budget, or the bids in, and we did come under budget. So the recommendation at this point is to approve this contract. You're used to doing this with the Skillman Group, who is your assigned CMC to that project. In your packet, you would see the construction prices at a certain point, and then I will be delivering to you 2 additional contracts that are provided by Perfection, as we've done with every project. They're responsible for the roofing and the HVAC. They do conduct a bid on that. It's not just Perfection saying this is how much it is. They conduct a public bid for that, and there is a selection. And what we have charged our architects and them with is that 2 things that go on in addition. We want the best of the best. Let's start there. And they take a look at our roofing replacement plan, because there was not one. If you recall, we have not done that. So the best of the best usually requires a 35-year warranty. And we are dealing with a pool. And so they were able to get their bids in that our budget, we came under budget at the Skillman level, but the budget that we allocated to the project, we came under budget. So we're able to get the best of the best. And the 35-year replacement year does not hit where I'm going to have 6 or 7 roofs. What we do from that point, if the budget doesn't allow it, we do value engineering, we take an assessment of that. Not only do we do that, if we choose a replacement year, say a 25-year or a 20-year, then the Perfection Group is responsible for looking at what I'm going to replace from in that time. So if we hit a place where I'm going to have so much that I can't maintain in 25 years of $1.10, or it could be possible to replace 8 roofs, then we have a discussion on, do we go to the 20 or should I stay at the 25 depending on the project. So that's kind of how that's working. Of course, we are already aware about talking about chasing the money. What is happening is with the inflation, even it's metal, continuously goes up. Skillman actually called, and they had a bid earlier with another district, and they're like, Laura, I gotta tell you, this stuff's going up, and I'm gonna say, I gotta tell you, I already know. Because we've got the projects, they communicate, because Perfection is dealing all across all states and seeing that, so we already knew, so we're prepared for that. So whenever we get an opportunity budget-wise to get a 35-year warranty, that's what we're gonna do, as long as we're not packing up that year. I don't want anybody else to ever, out here, I might be dead by then, but I don't want anybody else to walk in here and have to be facing 22 buildings. You can understand why. So, with the success of Skillman's bidding process, everything that was put in, I was aware of some of the subs that did come in, local, very reputable. So I am strongly recommending that the board does approve this GMP for your brand new pool.
Perfect. Board, do I have a motion for that approval?
I recommend that we approve the guaranteed maximum price agreement for the JHS pool with the school.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Do I have a second, please? Thank you, Ms. Mustaney. Any questions or comments other than that's a really good idea? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstaining. All right, move around to the last item here on our action agreement with CDWG.
Correct. So you know the district engages with E-rate process. We work with our consulting team with AdTech, which is engaged in for many years here, and they have several schools. I've used them at my previous school, so they're very astute to how E-rate funding goes. Fortunately for us, the timing on how this works, you always have to plan 1 to 2 years in advance for these different categories. And for this particular time, we're going to be able to take care of our new elementaries with access points. So CDWG, through the assessment and the bidding process that was done, you can see by the information that our technology team, Mrs. Bauer, presented to you, the scoring mechanism. They take that very seriously. There are regulations that they have to do and advised by AdTech. So it's my recommendation that the board approves the agreement with CDWG to provide E-rate Category 2 wireless access point upgrades.
All right, board, I move we approve the agreement with CDWG to provide E-rate Category 2 wireless access upgrades. Bless you. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we've turned the corner. I have no diving jokes or anything. Mr. Jones, do you have any comments for the board this evening? Good. Thank you, sir. Mr. Paul?
Only that I think this has come up like every year that I've been on the board, that state legislature wants to continue to push for school boards being partisan elections. Guys, this is just a horrific idea. I can't go on enough about that. Let's teach our kids political rhetoric of Brandons and Karens before they can even read Dick and Jane. That's how ridiculous this is. I enjoy coming in and knowing the only thing that affects my decisions are what's right for these kids. So let's keep it that way, and let's keep politics out of this school board room.
Wow. That a boy. Mr. Mustaney, would you have any comments?
Nothing other than totally agree. Very good.
Mr. Freeman, enlighten us. You've got to have something.
Nothing further.
Okay. Ms. Perkins?
Just like to thank the swimmers, parents and the swimmers that came tonight. It's been a long time, and you all have been patient, most of you. And I'm just really excited that not only are we getting a new pool, we're getting an incredible auditorium, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I'm excited about you, and thank you all for your support. I had a meeting earlier this week with a guy from Carmel, Indiana, and if you're swimmers, you know exactly what goes on in Carmel in the swimming world. And he said, do you really need a new natatorium? Can't you just renovate the one you have? Well, I didn't even go there with him. I said, look, you have 2 natatoriums. So regardless of how many children you have in your school, so not only here, and I just know what goes on in Carmel, and it's serious, and we've got momentum, and that this will really help that. So I'm grateful. Thank you, Skillman, and everyone involved in this plan.
First, I want to thank all the first responders. As many of you know, we had an accident this morning. It's pretty serious. I want to thank our first responders, Gary Green, Randy Burton, who were on the scene very quickly. Also want to thank the other students on the bus who really stepped up and helped the driver and helped other students. Thankfully, while a few did sustain some significant injuries, we think they're going to be okay, but it was a pretty significant situation. So hopefully everybody will improve quickly with their health. Also, another bit of good news. As you know, last week we did our February count, state count for enrollment. We were up 35 students, which is excellent. We were actually, if you compare the February count for this year to last year, we're up 250 students. So that's great. For the first time in probably 10 or 12 years, our February count went up instead of down, which just tells you, what's going on in our community, what's going on in Greater Clark, that we're doing the right things. And lastly, the natatorium, I'm thrilled about this project. It's been really fun to go through this. I mean, schools are fun also to design and get through the process of building, but this natatorium has been really something different. And it will be something different. When I go around the state, typically you want to see facilities like this in the Indianapolis area for some reason. And I'm glad that we're going to bring something like this down to southern Indiana. It'll be one of the nicest, or the nicest, natatorium south of Indianapolis, and that includes the Louisville area and the Kentucky area. So I'm just thrilled that we're doing this, and I continue to add, why not Greater Clark? Why can't we do these things in Greater Clark? Why can't we have nice facilities like they do up around Indianapolis? This is a growing, thriving community. The Greater Clark, Jeffersonville, Charlestown, Washington, Clarksville, that our schools sit in, and our students and our community deserve things like this. And so I'm glad that the community and the board is supporting that mission of what we're trying to do. And one thing Laura brought up is we're doing it and keeping the tax rate at $1.10. So I have to remind everybody of that, because I'm sure some people will see this project tonight in the newspaper or tomorrow and say, oh my gosh, they're spending all this money on a natatorium. But we're not raising anybody's taxes with this project. We're committed to keeping that tax rate at $1.10, and I think that's very important that we manage that and stay committed to that. So, thank you.
Mr. Markowski, nothing? Go ahead, board, I move that we adjourn. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.